Welcome in. Don't got no music. I think Renzi's about to raid in, and then we're gonna get started. It's secret sauce. Let me see. There we go. What's up, everybody? Let's go. Waiting for Flip the World. You're not waiting for me. I'm live, baby. Been waiting myself. I've been waiting myself. I'm trying to figure out this here live chat. Where we at? What we doing? Let's go. Let's go.
Yo, let me turn this off.
Let's
Don't worry, I came
go.
prepared. I came prepared. Dude, I'll buy them all. I'll buy them all. They're absolute fire. They're so good.
What's going on, brother?
Dude, so good to see you, man. How's you and the fam?
Awesome. I am pumped. Other than the YouTube is not showing that it's live. It says it's waiting on me. That's weird, but whatever. Best be some hot sauce somewhere. Oh, man, come on, man. Dag nabbit, it ain't mine, but I'll do it until we can get our own.
Shout out Harry Tornado. What? Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go.
Lead the way, my friend. Lead the way.
We'll have some secret sauce, guys. How do we know each other? Oh, just intelligent, handsome people just seem to flock together. I don't know if you've ever looked around, but that's just how it happens. I was scrolling on the internet one day and I was like, man, this guy's got an awesome smile. I should know him. What's up?
Best friends ever. It's been years, man. It's been years.
Yeah, it's been a long time. We sat together and told everybody that Whatnot was the future at the last FlipCon, RIP. I was in you guys when you had the old school SEF. We were part of that. Go way back.
I think we've been friends since before I had kids. And now I've got a couple.
And I had hair.
Oh, dude, listen, guys, I'm excited to chop it up. We've been talking about this for weeks. We've been talking about it all morning. Chris and I are going to be doing this every couple weeks, bouncing back and forth between both of our accounts. Make sure you're following. And if you have questions, put them down below. I think people did have some questions that you might have put down before, but let's dive right in, my man.
For sure. Guys, if you have questions, again, check the show notes. Just put it in the chat and make sure you put the question mark so it's yellow. That's like the indicator for me to actually look, because I know it's going to start going pretty fast. Just did your first Whatnot straight all after did a big consignment platform. Awesome. Well, welcome in, guys. We do have some things. We had talked about behind the scenes, talking about goals, show goals. Bigger than just I want to make this amount of money. How to actually break it down and put it into like a per show fruition. Yep. Flash sales is something that I wanted to talk to you about, especially 100%. Because you guys, I feel like, have been doing them before anyone else I knew about, before it was actually able to be done on the phone, which is something new to us over here. And then of course we got any strategies that you guys are currently working on, and then of course what's going on with us as well on our end.
Yes. Yo, Gabby, what's up? Bradley, can I do Whatnot even if I suck at talking? Of course.
Yeah.
You just got to get better. One little thing at a time. I mean, I don't actually know what it means to suck at talking. I mess up all the time, but just go.
I don't even use correct words sometimes, guys. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my God, I got a great story with this. It's with respect to talking. I was so in my head the other day. We were launching a brand new product, and we sat down with the owners of this company, and it was like, all right, we got the inventory in. We were doing this big launch day. The product is a Portuguese cork handmade bag, right? And I'm all pumped. I'm like, guys, are you ready? It's going to be crazy. It is handmade Portuguese pork. And everyone was like, what? You're selling pork? And
you're selling pork from Portuguese?
Yeah, instead of pork, I was like, oh my God, it's not pork, guys. It's not pork. And so I had to kind of talk my way out of it. But here's the point. Don't overthink it. Just go. And you're going to mess up. And actually, I think people respect that, and that you're not perfect, because no one is. And then you mess up all the time. Just keep going.
I think it just makes you more relatable, and then also like I don't know, like I think that's why people come in. They're like, well, this is a regular person. If that's a regular person doing it, then I'm a regular person. I can do it too.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
Now these questions are coming in super fast. So I haven't been on what? Oh, there was one before that I wanted to get to. Yeah, I speech fail all the time. Why is it so hard to be successful on Whatnot as a new seller? So that right there is like one of the main reasons why I wanted to start doing whatever secret sauce. I wanted to do this. I wanted to get with especially. I really wanted to do it with you honestly because you guys are doing something completely different for the than us and succeeding. And again, a lot of this in the beginning is probably just going to be back and forth for new people coming in, but we sell only pre-owned used clothing that we find at thrift stores, mainly the Goodwill bins. Ryan and Lindsay, brand new with tags inventory that they source from everywhere in the United States that has the product that they're looking for. Both winning platforms, both able to do it, both started with zero following. So starting out on a new platform, you can't look at it as I'm starting out on Whatnot. Is hard. Starting out on eBay first is hard. Starting out on Poshmark first is hard. Anything, just starting a new job is hard. Starting to work out is hard. Starting to eat healthy is hard. You just have to keep consistency and putting in the work is what's going to build you the reward.
Let me well, absolutely well said. Let me add on top of that as well. Consistency, because it just came in as well. Consistency is important, but also not beating your head against a brick wall. If what you're doing is not working, you have the chance to do something slightly different. So it could be, and this is what I love. Like, for example, we were selling some of these Carhartt plaid flannels. I could run dollar auctions. I could do higher starts. I could do flash sales. I'm going to get drastically different results for the same exact item on Whatnot. Then the
Yep.
next seller has all those options as well, and they're going to get drastically. This is actually one of the things I love about Whatnot is you are in complete control. Someone can't come in, for example, on Poshmark and have the same exact item and sell it for $5 when I'm trying to sell it for $39, and it really kind of affects how I'm doing because people can't be in two streams at once.
Yep.
I'm telling you all this because you are in control all the time. And if you're holding this up and you've got it listed for $99 and it's not selling, you have the chance to try something else. If you sell it at dollar starts and it sells for $1 and you don't want that, you have a chance to try something different. And you got to make those small little changes. Both Chris and I are always talking behind the scenes, and of course, we're bringing it to this public chat right now. What are these small little things that we're both trying to do to improve? Because nothing's ever perfect, and we're always making these small pivots. It doesn't mean you have to have this drastic, different business model change, but you have to try something different. And then you hear me say this all the time: when it works, go ham. Go absolutely ham on it. Pour gas on it.
Yep.
Keep doing it until it doesn't work anymore, and then make that small little change.
Exactly. And somebody asked about consistency. Yeah, consistency with everything. Again, everything in life is pretty much all the same, guys. All the answers that I'm going to probably spit out is you can actually take and apply in every aspect of your life. Consistency in anything is going to show you the best return on your investment. Again, diet, workout, business, family, kids, everything you put consistent time and effort into, you're going to see gains in. So yes, I'm a big fan of. I create our shows for the whole month. That way, everyone knows these are when our shows are. If we have to make a change, then you can adjust the time and you can adjust. Oh, so, life happens, but you have this is when I would like all my shows to be done. And then, oh, kid got sick, or oh, this has happened. Boom, you just reschedule it. You still have all the bookmarks. Everyone that's bookmarked gets notified that the show is changing, that there's going to be a later start time. You can jump in real quick and put a note in the chat saying, hey guys, running behind, kid had to go to the doctor, be on in an hour. And everybody knows what's up, but you're consistently letting people know this is when you can expect to purchase stuff from us.
I Inspired asked a really good question about what do you do when you get discouraged, and then Caleb asked a really good question about trying to please everyone while respecting your buying budget and getting stuff that actually sells. So let me go with the first one. Inspired. I get discouraged all the time. The way that I approach it is what I assume like a quarterback of a football team would do, and having different plays depending on what goes. So, for example, if I'm trying and Inspired, you're one of our biggest supporters, Inspired and Fearless. You definitely you can see sometimes I try not to show it as much, but I do get discouraged if something's not working. I'm gonna keep using this is like a different play. So right now, or this morning, I actually sold through most of them. I had women's size small all the way through 2XL. So this is exactly what I'm talking about. When I held up and I was like, all right, we're gonna run the women's size large because someone had requested it. It did not sell. We do higher starts for those of you that are brand new and don't know who I am. We do higher starts. Most of the stuff starts at $39. And someone asked for the plaid in a women's size large. So I held it up and I said, women's size large, boom, boom, boom. And it did not sell. I got slightly discouraged because I thought the person wanted it. So what did I do? The next play that I ran was let me widen the net to try to get a sale to come in. I have them small through 2XL. So I said, winning bid gets to choose which size they want. And I held it up and I said, we have a women's small, medium, large, extra large, and 2XL. That widens the net. I ran it, it sold, and then the person said, I want the medium, or I can't remember if it was the medium or extra large. So there are that's just one of like 100 different plays that you can run if you start getting discouraged. If you're just trying to beat your head against the bush over and over and over again, it's harder to get discouraged. And sometimes, as Chris was talking about, sometimes it's just not your day,
Yep.
and you move on and you try another day because the stream's always going to be different with new people. But we'll continue to talk about this over the next hour or so, or however long we talk. There's lots of little different things that you can do that will enhance the probability that you're going to make the sale. And then one more thing, Chris. Caleb was talking about people trying to please everybody
Oh
at the
yeah,
same
Brian.
time.
I've
Well,
been writing down the questions as they're coming in, so people don't feel like they're getting behind.
I
But
appreciate that. Caleb was saying, like how do you please everyone? There's one thing that I've noticed. There's this small little nuance with respect to whatnot. We always test things in the best sizes first,
mhm.
meaning the when we're doing shoes, like men's 10, 10 and a half, 11, and 12 are usually the most common sizes. All sizes will sell, but there's the biggest buying pool for that. In apparel, men's large, men's extra large, men's 2XL, women's medium, women's large, women's extra large. So when we're buying inventory, we'll start with those sizes in low quantities to test. And when it goes well, then we'll buy more and expand. But Caleb, one thing I wanted to say to you is the loudest people in the chat are usually the people that see you don't have what they're looking for and they'll start asking for it. So in shoes, do you have women's 5 wide? And do you have women's 5 wide? Do you have women's 5 wide? It's a very hard size to sell. It's a very hard size to sell because there's a very small buying pool, but they're going to be the loudest. So the data coming into your chat is, oh my God, I don't have the women's 5 wide. And you're going to think, should I go buy a bunch of women's 5 wide? Meanwhile, you're selling the women's 8, you're selling the women's 9, you're selling all the other sizes that you have sell, but the chat's not asking for it because they're buying it. So you have to be very careful with the data that's coming in. Test small and then only expand when the buying budget can permit, if that makes sense.
100%, which is kind of like what guys. I did a video, whereas I call it well, I didn't call it, but the 1090 rule. I focus on what is selling, not what people are asking for, because if I'm selling all size 8s, but I got one person asking for size 5Y, 90% of the time, if I found a size 5Y, they're like, oh, I don't like that color. Oh, I don't know. So I mean, but the guy, you guys are killing it. And also, guys, I appreciate you. I see people that are helping answer questions that are like easy answers, so I do appreciate that. I'm not trying to skip anybody, but you guys are really on the ball today. So you answered Caleb's. I did see somebody ask about on the seller side, is there things that you need like a license or taxes or anything I just set up? Quick answer is no. You can actually sign up to be a seller using your social. They'll send you the 1099. It'll come from Stripe or from PayPal, whatever you set up with. You can, if you have a business ID, put it in there, and then that will cover your like taxes for your state, or if you don't pay taxes or things like that, you can do that. That's perfect. You can do it, but you can sign up to sell with just your social, and then it will take you. It'll just send you a 1099. You'll have to do all that stuff with your taxes. Number of products in stock for a show. That was, and I'm going to ruin names, guys, because that's again, you were worried about speaking, whoever that was earlier. I purposely and not purposely mess up people's usernames because it just looks like smashed words together. And as somebody as somebody that's dyslexic, it just all smashes together. And I'm just like, so Dia MCC said number of products in stock for the show. I mean, that depends on your what you have available, what your purchase budget is, and what type of show. Like me, I try to purposely have at least minimum 100, but that's because I have access to unlimited inventory that I can find. So that's how I'm able to get it. But whatever your budget is should determine how many items you're going to be selling in your show. And if you're newer to whatnot, I tell people to do. If you have 100 items, I would break it into 425 shows, 425-piece shows, because you're going to get in there. There's not going to be a lot of people. You need to learn how to navigate through the app while you're doing it. By that fourth show, you do that a couple weeks in a row, and then you'll be a pro. You can up it to 50, up it to 75, things like that. You guys are crushing it on questions.
Yeah, lots of good questions.
Yeah, it's awesome. How do we handle failed payments? Uh, I give the person like 30 minutes, and if they don't pay, I just rerun the item.
Yeah.
That's
We
it.
I because as a seller, you're the only one that can see that it's a failed payment unless someone goes into your solds and looks. I in the moment, I just thank them for their purchase and I move on. And then like you said, sometimes they do fix the payment a little bit later on. If they do, obviously we ship the item. If they don't, I'm still a lot of the times whatnot is just confirming that that person's info hasn't been stolen and someone's, trying to use it. So I just say thanks for your purchase, even though it didn't go through, and move on. And if you want to choose to run the item like 10, 20, 30 minutes later, then game on.
Yep. And then the backup to that on when you do have a failed payment, how do you track it? So when you're live, there's that little red. I don't know if it shows this on there, but it says 122 people. If you're selling, you can click that, and it's going to give you quick metrics, or you can just click on your shop, and then under sold, it'll show all the payments that are pending will be at the top, and then you can just, if you want, you can send out a reminder like, hey, blah blah blah, your pendant's still paying, pendant's still whatever. See, I can't even
Nailed it.
speak. Your payment's still pending. Pending payment, Pindo, Pipper, Portuguese pork.
Portuguese pork, baby.
That's going to be the first hot sauce we come out with. Secret
Dude, you
sauce,
got it.
Portuguese pork.
It's happening. It's happening.
So you can check that way. Again, I don't put a lot of time in concentrating on the failed payment. I just say, hey, check your payment. I give them one time, and then after like 30 minutes, I just rerun the item. I put it to the side instead of putting it in the cart. Our business model is a little different because we go live from the bins. So instead of putting it in the sold cart, I just put it to the side, and I know I'm going to run it later. Um, my struggle is sourcing, not looking for you guys' sources, but where to find products. So my way to find products lately is I just started posting that I'm buying products. I post on social media. This is I'm looking to buy sourced inventory, and then follow these instructions. And the people that follow those instructions, I send them just a copy paste message of what I'm looking for, what I'm offering to pay. If that sounds like something they're into, let me know. Send me another email with number of items, the dimensions in the box, and the address that it's coming from. I'll send them a label. And I mean, the show I'm running today, literally after Secret Sauce, is all items that were shipped to my door that I didn't source.
Yeah, well said. There's so much I think there's needs to be a perspective switch on this. There's not like some secret wholesaler where you're going to get the best inventory at the least price dropped off at your door. Of course, I haven't found any success in buying pallets. We buy directly from the brands. We have sourcing teams that are all around the country that we've built over the last couple of years, all the way from California to Florida up here to Maine, and we're adding more people across the country every single day. And we do a lot of retail arbitrage. The benefit of retail arbitrage is you're buying directly from the brand, so you know it's 100% authentic, brand new with tags, and you don't have to worry about that. The trick with that is it's not as easy as just walking in the door. You do walk in the door, but it's about timing the sales right. It's about going to parts of the country where you understand that there's more of a chance that you're going to get the items for the least amount of buy cost. And then you could literally walk into the same retail store 24 hours later and the inventory can be a lot more expensive. And then 24 hours later, it's a lot less expensive. So anyone can do what we're both doing, but it's about like you're sharing, let people know what you're doing and they'll have inventory that they want to sell you, or building out a team or going out there yourself. I used to spend multiple days on the road while Lindsay was home and, sourcing. Lindsay and I, when we were first started this business, we went together and then we had kids and then we realized it didn't make sense for one of us to be on the road multiple days sourcing. So we built out a team that, like you said, they source it, they ship it up to us, we sell it from here. There's just let me put it this way: where we source, there's about 6,000 locations around the country, and we go to less than 10 of them. It's crazy. Like we go to less than 10 stores and we do multiple millions of dollars per year.
One thing that I always just kind of laugh when, and again, it's not, I'm not laughing at you in the chat that are saying you're having trouble finding inventory, but what I laugh at is we live in the most abundant country in the entire world. The entire world. If you make $34,000 a year in the United States, you are in the top 1% of income in the world. You live in the most abundant supply of crap on the planet. It's right here. So if you can't find inventory, you're not looking for it.
Bo, the Kmart's still a thing? Close plus, I mean, legendary. I didn't even know that was a thing. That you just opened my mind. Like, Kmart's still even a thing? Modern day, I'll answer that. That's wild. Shout out to Close Plus stuff. Keep going.
Oh no, you can. We currently I do the shipping. I know someone asked how long it takes me. So typically, because I have a very good system in place that works for my brain, which I would love to hire. I'm going to probably be hiring a shipper soon with this good fair deal that we're partnership that we're working with. But typically, I can get it done in less than three
Lay, say what's
hours.
up.
Less than 3 hours.
There's our shipper right there. She's working on this morning's shipment going out.
Yep.
Uh
That's goals. That's what I'm trying to get to.
yeah, we got lucky. She's in the fam. She's in the
Oh,
fam. That's
see,
that.
there you go. Yeah.
But we pay per stream. Well, let me back up. Instead, we pay per stream. Yeah, secret weapon inspired. And Abby, thank you for your purchase. It will be dropped off today. We do same day shipping as quickly as we possibly can. Sometimes it's the next day, but it'll be dropped off today. We're always talking about predictability in the business, and I like to pay people usually per task completed. So we're not forcing them to like work faster or slower or whatever. Like whatever you got going on your day, once you finish this task, you'll get this much. And some days it takes an hour, sometimes it takes 2 hours. So we pay per stream shipped, but we've also got years on Whatnot, approaching 3 years, where we know roughly how many packages that's going to be. And then if for some reason one of the streams goes off and there's way more packages than usual, then we obviously up the pay that way. But modern day was asking like, how do you pay? How do you find people? You obviously want to find someone local so it doesn't take them a long time to get to where you are. Obviously you have to be comfortable with them coming into your place or wherever you're actually working. And so using local Facebook groups in your town, you'll be able to find people. We live in the middle of nowhere. There's literally 600 people that live in the town that we live in Maine. And we still find, amazing people to work for us. It's the same thing, Sugar, with people that source for us.
Yep.
We worked with people we knew to start, and then we found pockets of the country where there was a lot of opportunity, meaning there's lots of retail locations that are like in a close proximity that we usually do source. And then we find people that live in that area, so it doesn't take them long to source in that area.
Yes. And as far as how we're currently paying pickers or sources is per piece.
Love it. Yep,
Per
same
piece,
thing.
just a weight. We just tell them right from the beginning there is a pay scale per piece, and obviously, we're going to pay up for something that we know we're going to make a killing on. But we only are buying from people that have access to the Goodwill bins or to the bins because I can't compete with retail prices and you make money. So we're only going after people that are getting it for cheap as it is. Rag house as well. Rag houses are harder though. Again, we have our second show Thursday, but it looks like we've created a partnership with a local rag house here in Houston that we're going to start hopefully running shows and then grow that out, bringing on people to sell under the name and things like that. But rag house is a lot more, honestly, it's a lot harder work to source from a rag than it is from the bins. So um rag
There's
house
a
is
lot.
basically like a textile where all clothes are in bales, and they're either being shipped overseas or they're being cut into literal rags and then sold to like mechanic shops and things like that. It's just repurposing of textile, which is clothing.
Scratched, and a couple other people were asking about LLC and all that stuff. Now that we're established, we're 7 years into this, doing it full time since day one. We have a professional CPA. We use Mark. He's on Instagram. It's not your dad CPA. He helped us get our whole structure set up. We have an S corp that runs two other businesses, reselling businesses that we have, and we are technically, Lindsay and I are employees to our own business, and that is all set up by a professional CPA. We also have a professional bookkeeping team, Ever Leslie's bookkeeping, who we met, through FlipCon and other recommendations. All that to say, you don't need that to
Mm-mm.
start by
Yeah,
any means. By any means, you're automatically, through the government's eyes, set up to succeed, and you don't need all that to like get going. It's just once you start getting a little bit bigger and running a little bit bigger numbers, it's important that you're making sure that all your taxes are done appropriately. You don't want to mess any of that up. And Lindsay and I reached a point after the first couple of years where we were like, holy smokes, we want to make sure that there's nothing slipping through the cracks here. And we hired the teams. Also, our business was producing enough to afford that. Up until then, we had to do all that stuff ourselves.
for sure, 100%. And again, we always have to throw in the words like allegedly and things like this, but we are not CPAs, so please reach out to somebody local and ask that, or reach up, not your dad CPA. We have a local here in Texas that we use. But yes, once as a sole proprietor, once your business starts making a certain amount of money, it's only smart as a business to figure out how to pay Uncle Sam the least amount legally responsible to pay, because you're the one doing the work, and I'm very anti-government being in my life. So make sure that you are finding somebody that can understand and relate that you're the one making the money and you want to keep as much legally possible. Um, Somebody asked about boosting or paying to promote your shows. We did it in the beginning of Whatnot when it was actually something that I thought was um, uh, good, and also just testing it out because we were part of like the beta for it.
Yep.
Full disclosure, we were part of the beta for it, so they would give us credits to try and see how it worked. But now when I look at it to promote, it's like $50. We've created a following to where we don't really need to do that. Um, I do know people that are smaller that do. They'll do like a 15-minute one. Um, but I think that if you are starting out, that's just going to be another. You're now putting yourself in the hole even more. So I would try and do it organically. Maybe if you're having like a big giveaway show or something like that to draw attention, I would do that. But I would not. Me personally, I don't, because we've built up the following.
Yeah, we don't do it either. We don't promote our shows. We've been lucky enough, I think, one or two times over hundreds and thousands of shows, one or two times where people have come in, and now that they have the option where the community can help promote, but we've never personally promoted it, especially when you're starting out. And even when you get bigger, I think it's super important to be consistent in the basics, and that is have really amazing inventory, listen to what people want, do your best to go out and find it, and present it at a price where you make a little bit of money and that's fair to the community. End of. There's all these other tricks, Poshmark tricks and eBay tricks and like hacks and all this stuff, but it gets away from the goal here is you are asking people for their hard-earned money,
Yep.
and you can't trick them into spending their hard-earned money, because then they will never come back. And so by focusing on that, you don't really have to do all this promotion and all this other stuff. It's kind of like buying a thermal printer when you haven't sold anything yet. Like, just use a regular printer. I think we sold $1 million and we were still using a $10 Goodwill printer where we had to cut out the paper and tape it to the box. I'm saying all that because I think people skip over the obvious thing, and we all know it, but I just want to reiterate it, is just being very good. I didn't know that people would really want these Carhartt flannels, so I tested it very small because I respect my money just like I'm respecting yours. And then when it went well, then we bought a bunch more of them. And then you do that over and over and over again with a bunch of different products, and eventually you'll find your groove and you'll build your following, uh, respecting your money and theirs.
Somebody asked about bundling on bundled items. So we bundle if we have like similar size, similar style, just because it's a way to maximize somebody getting a great deal. Again, this works for us because we're getting our inventory from thrift store, from the Goodwill bin, so we're paying very low. So if I have two size, typically I bundle if it's the same brand and the same size. So if I have two size extra large LL Bean flannel button ups, instead of running them individually and taking both the 15 seconds to 15 seconds, I just run them together, get you a better deal. Somebody's getting two same things. It increases the opportunity that it's going to sell, because instead of somebody having to bid on two of them, they get two for one.
And you said this, but I want to reiterate what you're doing specifically is you're increasing the value of
Yep.
that one auction, which means if done right, if you do it like you're doing it, then you can sell more and make more money quicker.
Correct.
Now, there is a way to do it wrong. Like if you paid, like for me, if I paid $25 for a hoodie and I'm trying to sell it for 39, and I can't bundle two of those together and sell them for 39. You have to take that into consideration. So in my example, that's not how to do it. In your example, that's how you do it. So take that with a grain of salt as well. There's little things that go with each one of these strategies that you got to be careful.
Just a real quick one again. Somebody asked about like the auctioneer license and whatever. So here's the way that I look at things like this. We talked about this in the first episode. If you aren't allowed to sell live auction on Whatnot, it won't be available for you if you sign up to sell.
Yep.
I don't worry about things that I don't have control over. If I sign up to sell on Whatnot and it says you're approved, you're ready to go, start your first show, then whatever comes with that on the back end is Whatnot's responsibility. Because if that's the business I'm selling on Whatnot's app, if Whatnot is not allowed, if I'm not allowed to live auction sell in a state because I need a license, then Whatnot would not have me selling in that state. So don't get caught up worrying about stuff that you can't control. What you need to control is, okay, I got approved to sell. When's my first show? Where's my products coming from? That's it.
Game on. And Whatnot is a multi-billion-dollar company.
Yep.
This isn't just like, thing that just popped up Whatnot is growing faster than Amazon did when Amazon first started.
Yep.
Now, obviously, it's not even close to as big as Amazon right now, but in the first 3 to 4 years from start to year 3, Whatnot is growing way faster than Amazon. So why am I telling you all that? To reiterate your point, Chris, which is they've got it covered. If I'm up here in the middle of nowhere, Maine, and let's say I needed some auctioneer's license, they wouldn't let me sell because they'd be like, hey, there's it's when we do giveaways, for example, there's a stipulation with buyers giveaways where international buyers, because of some tax stipulation, are not allowed to get into the buyers giveaways.
Correct.
So it doesn't let them, because Whatnot obviously tracks all this stuff. We've tried it because I didn't know that was a rule, and it's like, oh no, you can't get into the buyer's giveaway because you're an international blah blah blah, and here's the fine print and all that. That's just another example of Whatnot's going to make sure to take care of its sellers just like it takes care of its buyers by following all the rules.
Also, if you want to go into the details about the Ohio thing and why people are asking about the auctioneer's license, if you actually look up what the actual law is, it's such a big, it's written with such big loopholes that you don't have to have one. Just
Yeah.
so you guys know, I did the research, but really, if Whatnot allows you to sell, then you sell until otherwise. When you try to log in, it says you are not allowed to sell in this state because of blah blah blah. Trust me,
Right.
Whatnot's not going to risk its business over you selling your used products in a state that doesn't allow it. So just control what you can control, which is getting on here and making money selling and building this. See, I love it. Somebody just said, I just heard about Whatnot honestly in October. I love that because that shows how green this freaking this platform is and how live selling is literally I
It's
used to
crazy.
be, it's just nuts. I don't know how to explain it other than it's nuts. It's nuts.
Oh man, it's crazy. There was one question earlier. This might take me a little bit longer. What's up, Jacket? Someone was asking about sudden death versus not sudden death.
Yeah.
This is what's so great. The answer is yes.
Yeah.
We have done not sudden death. We've done sudden death. Both work. You just got to figure out the groove with respect to your following, what you're comfortable with. This is what's different than other marketplaces too. Is every single second counts. So like we used to do 10-second sudden death. We used to do 20-second, 15, whatever it was above that. And then we sped it up. Now we are selling brand new with tag inventory. So we don't need to explain if there's any blemishes or show the whole thing. Like everything's brand new with tags. So that gives us that gives us the ability to go a little bit quicker. But when we used to sell used shoes, we couldn't do 5 seconds sudden death because we'd have to show the shoes. They were gently used. We wanted to make sure we show all angles. You want to make sure you're respecting people's time and attention and also not taking advantage of it. You could technically do 2 seconds sudden death and have hoodies that are filled with holes, but you don't show it and blah, blah. But of course, what happens is when they get it, they're going to say you didn't show this. So you got to figure out what works best for you time wise. Now, what you don't want to do is 60 seconds,
Yeah.
and you've got one item go. That is way too long. Way, way, way too long. Now, when you first, yo, Ethan, what's good, brother? When you're first starting off, doing 30 seconds is totally cool, but then you'll build a little groove and you want to go a little bit, potentially a little bit quicker. But again, the long-winded answer is what's comfortable for you, and then add the speed as you can manage with respect to your inventory.
100%. And that one right there, that paragraph right there that says, I don't have a large following. I have inventory. I've been researching other and watching other people's shows. I talk about that a lot, guys, especially if it's in the same category. So what I do, and I still do this, is I go to people in the same category that I sell in that are bigger than me, that are where I want to be, what I want to do, and I get in their stream and I take notes. I see what they're doing. Okay, they're running it at this time. Oh, they're running them at this amount. They're starting it here. And I also engage in the chat so people will start following. It's how you build, you be part of the community. It's pretty simple, but I get into the same category of what I sell in and I see, oh, okay, well, they're doing it this way. Well, I'm going to try that. I mean, you can ask my chat. I got a lot of the Flip the World Army in here. I try a lot of new things and I don't care if I have if a show sucks because I tried something new, then, oh, guess what? I don't do that again.
Yep.
And there's a million different ways to sell, but you have to actually get started. That's like the main thing that I can stress. And then what you were just talking about with sudden death or not sudden death, one of the ways that you were able to cut out having longer sudden deaths is you raise your start price.
Yep.
So instead of starting it at $20, hoping to get up to 39, you're like, look, let's just cut out the 10 seconds it's going to take for it to bid. We'll start it at 39. That eliminates at least 15 people that were going to bid anyway. And now the people that actually want the item, this is where the start is. Go.
Yeah. Let me reiterate too, the higher starts. We have not like 90 something thousand solds on Whatnot. The first 20,000 items we sold on Whatnot was dollar auctions. And then what we realized was very quickly it was becoming unpredictable. The same exact item one day would sell for $5. The next day it would sell for like $47. And this is how I support my family. This is how I take care of my kids. This is the 100% of our income that comes in. And I was like, I don't want to roll the dice with this. I don't like the unpredictability. Let me test this higher start thing. And everyone told me it's not going to work. Everyone told me it's not going to work, even though there's other sellers that do it and it's not going to work. And now that was at 20,000 items sold. Now we're approaching 100,000 items sold. So the last 70,000 items has all been higher starts. We only need one person to bid to be
Yep.
profitable. Now that changes how you source, that changes, a lot of other different things, but now it becomes predictable because I only need one. And then this actually gets into the flash sale conversation because I only need one person to actually bid. I feel a lot better about it and I can groove and I don't have to yell at the chat, bid it up, bid it up, bid it up. That drives people absolutely insane. I can say, here's what we got. We've got this really nice midweight Carhartt plaid flannel. I've got these really nice puffer vests from Hunter. I've got these North Face hoodies. What are you looking for? And I can get more into creating relationships and less like, oh my God, I don't know if I'm going to make money on this one. Oh my gosh, I don't know. And it works. Now, I can't just source random stuff. I got to listen to what people want to spend their money on. The pricing has to make a lot of sense. We'll get into flash sales in a little bit. But
Yeah. Rebellious Roads. We are 100% Whatnot. I've never really been into spreading myself everywhere. Even when I was only selling on eBay, I've never been like a cross lister. I'd rather be like really good at one thing versus like moderately good at a couple things.
yeah,
So I've always just pumped gas onto the one thing that was the best. So no, we went all in on Whatnot. As soon as I realized that I could be who I am and people buy stuff from me, I was like, oh, this is a game changer because it makes it more personal. I get to entertain people and you know who you're buying from. So that's why we're all 100% on here.
same here. 100% on Whatnot for the last 3 years.
You do no cancellations. Yeah. So pretty much all auctions on Whatnot are no cancellations. Even when you sign up to buy if you just sign up not as a seller, but you sign up to buy on Whatnot, part of the terms and conditions that you're agreeing to when you create your account says that all bids are final. If you bid, you bought it. Now, obviously, seller, you guys can come with a up to an agreement with a seller, and there have been incidents where things happen. But yeah, the whole like, hey, my toddler had the phone, he tripped over the cat, it went down 13 stairs, not the phone, the cat did, and then he accidentally swiped 100 times. So can you please cancel this? I just I don't. If somebody's asking in the chat, like, "Hey, I need to cancel," "Hey, check, I need to cancel," I just keep doing my show, and I handle the business part of it, which is the dealing with that individually. I'm not going to talk about that in the chat. I'll just be like, "Hey, I saw your message. I'll get to you after the show," and then I just reject it and I send them their item. Full
Yep.
disclosure.
Yeah, we're I'll reiterate too. We I they haven't rolled it out to everyone yet. Are you part of the customer service thing yet?
I keep rejecting it. I want them to do it as long as they will until I have to.
We're part of it. We're part of it now, and so that means we handle all the customer service as opposed to Whatnot.
Yeah.
And it's been fine because we're very transparent about everything that we sell. There's been only a few out of the last, I would say, out of the last like 10,000 items sold. There's been less than 5 situations where I'm like, what in the world are you like? I don't even understand what common sense is going. But in those cases, we make sure to take care of the individual, and then like the soup Nazi from Seinfeld, they're no more soup for you. You're no longer purchasing from Rinzi with that squirreliness, but we take care of every single person.
Yeah.
And Whatnot is very good about protecting buyers if you are very transparent. And this is why I love it, because there's a video receipt for absolutely everything. If you're taking advantage of people, they'll go back and watch the video and they'll be like, hey, seller, you didn't show them the whole thing, or you weren't very honest about what it was. But if you're taking care of people, Whatnot takes care of you.
Yeah. Just because it sounded like I don't handle customer service. When people
Oh, no,
message
no.
me, when people message me, I respond it. But as far as like, we don't have, luckily, we don't have a lot of people that go to Whatnot and then Whatnot messages us, say, hey, we had somebody reach out, want to handle this. So most of the time, if there's an issue, it always states in my show notes, like, hey, if there's something, reach out, I'll respond back, and then I handle it from there. But we don't have a lot because we give all the information you need in the show notes, and then we constantly, plus my mods, constantly tell people like, hey, check the show notes. Now Middle Earth has asked, what do you do with used inventory that doesn't sell? So we're just now starting to get into that because we've always sold live from the bin. So if it doesn't sell, I just throw it back in the bin
Yep.
and move on about my day. But when we do, like today, I have all this inventory. It's already purchased. It's my inventory. I'm going to run everything. And what doesn't sell, there's 2 issues that you can do. One is what I've already started doing when we'd have home shows, is I just put it to the side, and then at the end of my show, I sell it as a leftover lot. So I'm going to run all of it. I'm going to show every piece again because it's good stuff, and then somebody's going to get a killer deal because we typically sell to resellers. So somebody's going to get a big reseller box, and that way I sell out of inventory. Now, if it's really good stuff, I just set it aside, clone the items to the next show, and I blend it in with whatever I'm doing at the house. I can blend it into another show. But most of the time I just leftover lot it so I can be completely done with that inventory and move on. And then I just make a mental note like, hey, nobody wanted that. Doesn't mean it's not good stuff. Maybe I just didn't have that buyer in that show. So that's what I'm
Yeah.
doing.
I love that. DC, the real quick thing is I would always sell brand new with no box. People would rather get no box than half a box and ripped up. If it has its full box, brand new with box. If it has half a box, it's brand new, no box. I want to reiterate what you said. I want to use this as an example. I had about 25 of these women's Carhartt hoodies this morning with respect to what we were just talking about. The first time I ran it in my stream this morning, didn't sell. I had multiple sizes and no one bought it. But 10 minutes later, when there's new people that are coming in addition to the people that stick around and hang out with us all morning, I sold all of them. There's only 5 left, or one. There's only 4 left in the same exact stream. This is what's so great about Whatnot. It's almost like people are coming in and out, in and out, in and out. So if it doesn't sell in one part of your stream, you can sell it like you're doing at the end. You can also, I think it was either Motane or Modern Day said another stream. There could be a totally new crowd in there. Give it a couple streams or wait till the end, and then there'll be a whole bunch new people in there. If you try to sell it once, there's a 20-second period where a bunch of people weren't even in the stream yet. I'm actually taking this a little bit further in terms of the strategy and how I source, because let me use the example. We launched a brand new product. We were joking about it, the Portuguese pork, but the Portuguese cork bags, we had 67 bags. They sold out in 34 minutes,
Yep.
which is great, right? But then an hour later, everyone that was coming in was like, "Hey, I thought you had a big
Where's the
announcement. Like,
bags? Where's the
what's this
bags?
bag?" So where my mind goes is, if I had another 67 bags, could I have sold them in the same stream an hour later? Which means more sales, blah blah blah. So now you can do this in a small sense with a couple per size, or you can go crazy and basically have multiple streams within the same stream, knowing that there's going to be new people coming in all the time. I hope that helps you answer your question. Don't get discouraged if during that one time you run it and it doesn't sell, doing higher starts, 10 minutes later there's going to be a new crowd in there.
Yep, always, yeah. And that's again, that's the great part, because this is like a kiosk in the mall, except you're not asking people if they would like to touch your soap. You're just holding it up and be like, guys, I got soap. You want something? You want the soap? You like it? Let me touch you. I give you the soap. No, okay, thank you. It's
Oh
constant.
no, dude. I'm going to start using that accent now. So
Level up. Thank you so much. Hey, I'm glad you said the name Motane, because I was like looking at it, because I was like, I don't know how to pronounce that. But hey, you said you got access to a rag. Hey, send me an email. We can work something out. That'd be great. Yes, Whatnot. I believe Whatnot is more fast paced than Poshmark. I don't even get on Poshmark Live, but I'm also very anti Poshmark. Just full disclosure. I think Whatnot. We're all just doom scroll. That's all we do. Most of society just doom scrolls now. So yes, be fast paced, sell stuff. It's great to make money on your stream. I literally just did a dollar store video. I went to I don't want to get into the NS stuff, because I know that's what they do, but or she does. But you can literally just go to any store and figure out a way to make money, guys. Now look, we're answering a lot of your questions, which is what we said we'd do, but we haven't got into any of our topics. Hey guys, thank you so much for all the tips. You don't have to
thank
do
you,
that.
thank you.
This isn't we're not charging any admission for this. We both have the same mindset that anybody that puts in the work can be successful, and there's no benefit to me holding in all the information I have. If whether it be me giving my kids information or tips on life lessons, or giving it to random strangers, as long as somebody's applying it and they're bettering themselves, then that's what it's for, right?
Game
uh,
on.
Goals. What do you want to talk about? The flash sales, or the goals first?
Go for it. Either.
I'm gonna go with flash sales, because
Yep.
you're more into it than, and I'm just getting I got like 1 foot in
Yep.
into the flash sales. So how are you guys applying your flash sales? Are you applying them because there's two ways that I see people doing flash sales. There's just randomly while they're running shows, they're like, hey guys, I'm about to run a flash sale on this, and then they continue running stuff while the flash sale's going. And then I see another group that uses flash sales on when they're having like a buyer appreciation giveaway, is a cheap way for a lot of people to get into the buyer appreciation giveaway. So it's like, let's say I'm giving away a brand new Louis Vuitton purse, buyer appreciation. The only way you can get a buyer appreciation if you're new to Whatnot is you have to buy something, thus the buyer appreciation giveaway. Which I know has changed now, because somebody complained enough that they now made it to where you have to fill out a form and you can still enter. But for the
Yep.
sake of the conversation, buyer appreciation means you bought something and you get to participate. So what I've seen people do is they'll have a quantity of like 100 of like something, let's say stickers, a sticker pack, and they're like, all right, guys, we've already sold everything. We're about to do the buyer appreciation giveaway, but before we do, I'm going to run a 50, or I'm going to run 100 sticker pack flash sale, 10 seconds, and then we're going to do the giveaway. And so then
Yep.
there's 100 people that just bought, or they just sold 100 flash giveaways. All those people are now entered into the giveaway, and then they give away. Pros, cons. How are you using flash sales?
It's the answer is yes. You can use it in both of those ways. We are using it slightly differently. All of our apparel starts at $39, but we're starting to test the flash sales because they can be running behind the scenes while you're auctioning. So technically, I can sell multiple 2, 3, 4, 5 things in the same exact second, which is amazing because I'm trying to sell more in shorter amount of time. It also, for us personally, we work with a company called Ledgeway Farm here in Maine. They've been doing goat milk soap for over 10 years. They have an amazing product. We flash sale their product. We also work with Coastal Maine Popcorn to do their gourmet popcorn. I'm telling you all this because it's an easier price point with respect to our $39 starts. All that stuff starts under $10. Just like you're saying, it's an easier way to get into the buyer's giveaway. It also adds a little bit of flavor to our streams. We used to do all streams were $39 and everything's go, 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 which is great. But this flash sale adds a little different element. Now, the answer is both work. So the sticker example you used works. The selling stuff behind the scenes in your buy now while you're auctioning stuff off also works, because you can do 30-minute flash sales, you can do 10-second flash sales. We've tested it all of it works. So see what works for you. What I've realized recently, we track absolutely everything, is if we start something at 39, for example, sometimes it gets bid up and goes crazy, 40, 50, 60, 70, $80. Sometimes the average sale on that particular item is $39, right?
Yep.
One person swiping, we run it again, another person swipes. Now, if I can sell 5 North Face hoodies in 1 second at $39, that's better than running 5 back to back to back at $39. Correct. It's the same buy cost. Now we take our own data and we say, all right, which items? I'll use a women's Carhartt relaxed fit joggers. They were consistently being sold at $39. We ended up sourcing like 50 pairs of them, and I decided to try the flash sale. Instead of it being an auction, the vocabulary I'll say to people is, I'm going to put it on screen. I'm going to start a flash sale. There's no bidding. It's the first person to swipe gets it. And then I'll flash sale it for $39 on the screen, and I'll sell 5 of them in 1 second. Then I'll restock it and put 5 more on there. 5 more in 1 second. So what I'm trying to share with you guys is there's the same tool that can be used in a bunch of different ways. We ended up selling 24 women's size medium Carhartt relaxed fit joggers in less than 10 seconds. Now, I could have held up each one and gone back to back to back to back, but it's just another way where you can increase speed and use the tool. The last thing I'll say, a hammer. The hammer was invented. Some people can build a beautiful house with it, and some people will smash their own finger. Like, there is a way to not win using the flash sales. We tried a couple stuff that didn't work, but there's lots of different stuff that does work with respect to the flash sales.
Yes, and then also somebody just said it too. Somebody let me know when I was doing my flash sales show, like it's just a beta test to figure out flash sales. They're like, hey, you can actually just put all the different variants and run all of them at once.
Yep. Yeah. The variants. I broke it when I did the variants because we did too many variants. We had the popcorn and I had like 27 different flavors, and then there was so many variants that you couldn't get down to the buy now button after you picked your variant.
Oh wow.
So like there was a time where I was like, oh my God, these variants don't work. And then it was, of course, user error. It was my fault. I was like, whoa, there's way too many variants.
We have too many flavors.
There's too many flavors. But again, that's the same exact thing. In addition to everything that we just talked about, you can do one listing and then they can pick their size. I'm not a fan of doing the variants. I haven't played with it enough because it's an additional click. And okay. I'm trying to get people to just swipe and go.
That's what I was kind of thinking. I was like, if you have 10 different, and then when they click on the buy now, then it's going to pull up a screen, and then they have to click another one, and so it's going to take a little bit longer. Okay. One question I did have off of what you just said is you said you ran 5 joggers, they sold in a second, and then you ran 5 more. Is there a reason that you're, instead of just doing 10, that you broke it in half? See, guys, I'm also learning. I'm not just talking.
We tested putting all of them in there. And this is where I got it from. There's a story. I can't remember the man's name. He owned a shoe store. You might have seen this on one of it because we watched the same stuff on YouTube. There's a story of a man, a very successful man who owned a ton of shoe stores in New York City. They said, what was the secret? And he said, always 2, never 3.
Yeah.
And I'll explain what he meant. When someone came into his shoe stores, this was back in like the 60s, 70s, and they sat down and they said, I like that shoe. Can I try that one in a women's 8? Can I try that one over there in a women's 8? Can I try that one over there in a women's 8? He would only bring 2. And then he would have them try it on. And then he'd be like, all right, I'm going to go put 1 back if you want to try the 3rd one. He realized after trial and error that if he gave 3, very few sales came in. But if he only gave 2, a lot more sales came in, and a lot of times they bought too.
Yeah.
So we tested, for example, when we flash saled our goat milk soap, we used to have like 47 quantity 47 for each one of the scents, and it wasn't selling as well. Then we tried 3, selling out, selling out, selling out, selling out. Now it adds an additional. You have to have behind the scenes. This is where Lindsay comes in. Behind the scenes, you got to know how much you have on hand. This also leans into what I was saying. 10 minutes later, it's a brand new crowd.
Yeah.
So
they don't
we
know you already sold out.
Right. And, sometimes we actually only have 3 left, or we only have a 2 left. And so you create that sense of urgency by having a smaller quantity. You have to be careful behind the scenes. You got to make sure your ducks are in a row. But it increases the chance that they're going to swipe it away because they don't want to miss out. And then you can just restock and keep going.
Kind of the same mindset of like the Gap has a million different t-shirts versus you go to like Gucci and they have 2 t-shirts.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
And you don't know how. Now, here's a blanket statement that on Whatnot you will be much more successful. If people don't, you want people to know what you have. You don't want people to know how many. Now, flash sales, low quantity. I'm not saying do flash sales with only one and having to keep restock. But if they know you have 1,489 of something, it's like, oh, well, he's probably going to run some more of those later. Let me go shop somewhere else and come back. And this is trial and error. I thought for sure, if we had done, and this is also watching other sellers. There's a seller that we watch, Opon Bins, and they have a good rhythm of selling 10 or 15 per item every 1 second. So,
and do you the other question on flash sales, just to get them all out of the way, when you're creating your flash sales, it has that option of sell it at full price during your show. Do you toggle that on, or do you not mess with that?
All right, listen up. This is key. We tested this, and the problem with toggling it on, but let me say why we toggled it on first, is I didn't want people to buy before that we started the flash sale, right? Because you have it like a higher price, and then you flash sale and it goes lower. And I didn't want people to buy it before. So that's why we said, all right, it's available at full price, which is great. But so we tested it. Now, here's the problem. If you're running the flash sale and it gets down to 1 second and someone swipes to buy it, then they have to click confirm. If the timer runs out, it goes back to full price. So we had people buying full price, $19 bars of soap when they dropped down to 9. And I was like, no, it's flash sale at 9. And they're like, I just paid 19. Why did I? And it was that. So we had to give up the buy at full price.
Okay.
We don't toggle it anymore. So now the most they're ever going to pay is what the flash sale is.
See, guys, not to pat myself on the back, but this is how you get better. You ask questions. I'm constantly trying to ask questions to people that are doing it better than me, so I can learn how to do it. These are questions that I have.
Or I've already stumbled. I mean, I had to refund people's money because I was selling them $19 bars of soap. You can't do that.
That's what I was thinking. If you have it in there as the buy it now price, and then somebody buys it, and then literally a second later you go, all right, guys, I'm running a flash sale. Now, of course, you didn't plan that,
Right.
but they're like, oh man, if I would have waited 1 more second, I could have got it for half price.
Yeah.
And then you've created somebody that might not come back and buy. So no, I totally understand that. Cool. Now I know somebody asked a question that I'm literally dealing with right now, so I wanted to scroll up. As a new seller, you think loading the bin is better than random pulls? So here's the thing. I know you guys do random pulls.
Yeah, we do both now, but yeah.
I have always just put a title, because I've had time to just sit there and put the title. I don't do pictures. I just give it a nice title, and that helps me with shipping on the back end. And it also lets people come in and they can kind of see and they can get pre-bids. But as we're moving towards like the shows we're doing at the Rag House, and then like the show I'm doing today later after this, it's random because I'm trying to sell a certain amount in a certain amount of time. Opal with a raid, let's go! Thank you so much. I know you had a great show. I don't even have to ask if you had a great show. I know Opal's been crushing it on here. So we're mixing it up. So the bins have been a little bit down, and so I need to source longer and enter less. So it's usually the way it works for us. We go live at 11. I source till 9:30, and then I have to start entering all this stuff to be ready to go at 11. But with the random pulls and taking stickers and numbering everything, I can actually dig till right up till 11, have more possible stuff to run so we can hit our goals that we have. Um,
Also, let me add on top of that. Depending on how you are as a person and how organized you are, listing everything helps you tremendously when you go to ship. Where if you do one listing, you got to be very organized during the stream to then be able to ship stuff. Let me show you real quick. We do both. We've done mostly random pulls, but we've got this whole cubby system that is numbered 1 through like 500. So as I'm going through my random pulls, one's up here, two, three, four, five, all the way down. I just put it in the cubby after it sells. And then when Lee comes in to do all the shipping, on the tag, it just says, John Smith ordered number 1817 and 214. She doesn't even need to know anything about the inventory. She just pulls what's out of the cubby. That makes shipping go quicker. But the downside is when people come into our stream, they're like, what do you got? And
yeah,
I have to know off the top of my head, what do I have in a women's XL? Because there's no way for them to know because I haven't listed it. So like there's pros and cons. It really depends on how you function as a seller. And also after the stream is done, how do you function? Because if you're not keeping track and have your stuff on point during the stream, then it will help you tremendously to have everything listed and vice versa.
100%. And also with the random pulls, again, you're talking about the after the show because a lot of
Yeah.
people, you can run it however you want during the show. After the show is when the real work really happens. This is just entertainment for me. And then after the show, am I going to be up for 6 hours watching video receipts because I can't find the product? Because I have somebody that does random pulls and they message me, they're like, hey, Whatnot's video receipts have been down for 3 days. And when I asked them how am I supposed to figure it out, they responded with, this is why you have to have a secondary way of finding the inventory,
Yeah.
either by numbering or putting a title in the description. So what is going to be the easiest for you as a person? Are you able to mentally compartmentalize and do it by numbers like you guys do? I have a bin system, so whether I put the title or I put it in the bin, it just depends on if I'm doing like today's random show, my bins, instead of saying shirts, t-shirts, hoodies, jackets, it's going to say 8 to 11 ounce, 12 to 15 ounce, 1 to 2 pounds, and each tub is going to get whatever that item is with the number on it. And then I just go, oh, okay, I have to pull 8 to 11 ounce, number 10. Okay, I go to the 8 to 11 ounce bin and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, number 10, there's the item. I don't need to look at the video receipt on it. So whatever makes it easier for you. Again, this is your business and you want it to be streamlined, because if there's hiccups in your business, you're going to get frustrated, you're going to quit, you're going to give up, or you're not going to be successful because you're going to have to dump more time into something instead of just running product.
Right. Nailed it.
Somebody asked about shipping. So shipping, a lot of people ask me because I go live from the bins and I have all my shipping. How do I do the weight? So Whatnot gives you like a variance.
Yeah.
The easy way that I respond to people is I have a cheat sheet that I've created. Now, I created this cheat sheet because I've been selling as a reseller since 2017. I know how much things weigh because I've sold the same things. So I know what a t-shirt weighs. I know what things weigh. If it's something off, Whatnot allows you after the show to make changes. Now,
Yep.
you can't make a million changes, but they allow you to make changes for free. So I
Yeah.
just make sure that I'm in the weight restriction that I need to be in. Now, this is also, you have to think about it. It's not the weight of the item, it's the weight of the item in the package.
Yep.
So it's not complicated. I see so many people not start just in reselling in general, not just on Whatnot, because of shipping. They're so concerned with getting the shipping wrong. I don't even change the dimensions on the label. Every
Ever.
single package that goes out says 12 by 12 by 12 because the post office doesn't care about the dimensions. They only care about the weight. So as
Yeah.
long as your weight's right, it doesn't matter. Boxes versus poly bags, I ship everything in boxes except for stuff that can go in poly bags.
Yep. Same exact answer. With respect to the random pulls too, we all our clothing is listed at 1 to 2 pounds because there's a little bit of a buffer, and we do bundled shipping, which means if someone buys 2, 3, 4 items, it's still in the same 5 pound bundle, and it's automatically done that by Whatnot. We do not charge the $9 per item. Some other sellers do that. That makes it a lot easier to ship, but we like to pass on the savings to some of the buyers. Also, the buffer is key there. We don't do 12 to 15 ounces on apparel because most of it is between 1 to 2 pounds. We're not trying to like pretend like the shipping's less just to make it look more attractive. but we do give that little bit of buffer. Now, if there's a heavier jacket or something, exactly like you said, Chris, we go in and we adjust it afterwards, and Whatnot
Correct.
will absolutely make that easy for you.
Which is what somebody was asking. So if the shipping is more than you set up, who's paying the difference? So Whatnot gives you 5 free what I call oopsies a
Yep.
week. 5 free oopsies a week. If you're making more than 5 oopsies, you need to stop selling and reevaluate your shipping because you're off. That's a
Right.
you problem. You can be
Yeah.
off 5 times. I'll give you. I mean, I use maybe like once a week because the leftover lot sometimes it'll be off. Because I can't really gauge that depending on it. I can get close, but you get 5 free oopsies where nobody pays. Whatnot just says, hey, things happen. We'll eat that. If you're doing more than that, you need to reassess the weight of your items. Maybe update your cheat sheet. If you always are coming up short, then maybe you need to bump everything up. So that's just my personal opinion. I don't weigh every item. I don't weigh honestly. I don't weigh anything anymore. Everything is just a cheat
Right.
sheet that I've always used, and that's how I do it. Yes, if you use flat rate, if you are a flat rate person on Whatnot, you have to use a flat rate box. Um,
Yep.
I don't recommend it for what we do. Our business model doesn't work with flat rate because it actually hinders people from buying more because I want to sell as many things to you as possible. And if I have flat rate on and you buy 30 things, I'm not getting it in a flat rate box,
Right.
even a flat rate large box. So then I'm going to have to unbundle that, change it to ground advantage. And now I got to eat the difference. So I personally don't use flat rate. Now, if you sell cards or coins or anything small where you can put 100 of them in a flat rate box, go bananas for it. But Whatnot's bundle shipping is with Shippo, the discount that they have with Shippo is so good
Yeah.
that if you're using priority and ground advantage, your buyers are saving. First of all, you get 5 pounds for 921, which is amazing. And then after that, ground advantage is like 30% less than it is going anywhere else.
Yeah. Well said.
All right. I knew as soon as I mentioned shipping, it was going to get crazy in the chat.
I
So yeah,
got yeah. It's way easier than people think. I think it's very easy to complicate it though when you start getting into all this stuff. But I'll reiterate what you said. We've never changed the dimensions. We use free boxes from USPS. We use the box 7. We use the 1095 box, and we use the USPS shoe box. We get them thousands of them dropped off at our house for free,
yep.
and so we use the free boxes. Now, of course, when it's more than 5 pounds and it's ground, then we have to get some of the brown boxes. But how do you handle bundle in the back end? Pick your. That sounds like a squirrely question. How do you bundle in the back end? Are we still talking shipping? What are
I
we
mean,
doing?
we, how much time you got, man? You doing 10 to 5? What's your bid? You got a 25 to life on you? I mean, how many
Oh my dear lord!
how many years you about to serve?
It's very simple. It depends. As long as you don't touch anything on your shipping, it automatically does it for you. So
Yep.
like Whatnot will bundle people's shipping together, and then when you print off the labels, it'll say John Smith, Jane Doe purchased these items. Put them in one box,
Yep.
and then if for whatever reason Whatnot will automatically make 2 bundles for you, it'll be 2 separate labels.
Yeah. And if you have to unbundle something because it's too much to put in a box, even if it's not flat rate, when you have it on your screen, there's a gray button that says unbundle. You click that, it's going to pull up all the items with a little check thing, and then you just check the items that you want to unbundle. It'll create a brand new label for those individual items that you've unbundled. It won't charge you, it won't charge the customer. That's part of your little oopsies. And then you can put it in there. And honestly, I don't even think it's part of your oopsies because they've already charged the shipping for those items. So it just creates a new label. You print that out and you put those in there.
Yeah. Hey, Brenda, there's going to be people that complain about everything. So just keep doing what you're doing. And if it's one person complain now, oh, actually, this is a bigger topic. If there's one person complaining about $5 shipping, it's probably not the right buyer for you, especially if they've already bought 20 items. There's so many amazing buyers on Whatnot that don't focus on buyers
Yeah,
like that. Ship them their stuff, wish them the best, and then move on because those type of buyers will get absolutely drowned out by the amazing buyers that will keep coming back to you.
for sure. Which is something I've said from ever, guys. I don't. If you're ever in a stream and you feel like somebody's berating you or like any of that, just block, gone. You don't have to worry
Yeah.
about. Don't buy from them. The easiest way to drown bad sellers out is don't support them, and they'll eventually just starve and die and leave. And then the same thing with people trying to buy from your chat. If you sell to somebody and then it turns into like all kinds of back DM communication on the back end, handle that situation because you've already made a sale, and do your customer service the way you're supposed to, and then block, and they'll never buy from you again.
Yeah, dude, that might be the best advice all day because and again, it's because I understand too, especially as a new buyer, you want every sale, you want to please every single customer, but you gotta protect your sanity.
Yep.
And there are people that will try to take advantage of your sanity in this, like, well, I've spent my money with you, so you need to do X, Y, and Z. No, you don't.
No,
You don't.
not for a
There's so
$5
many
shirt.
amazing people that get it, and as long as you're treating them how you want to be like, just move on. And we've blocked people. Of course, I say welcome to the block party.
Yep. Same thing.
And enjoy the hot dogs, and then they're gone, and I never see them again.
I probably have more people blocked than I have followers. I mean, I don't mess I don't mess around with people that are they're gonna cause my sanity to be different than the what I'm trying to bring to the table. Because at the end of the day,
Yeah.
guys, if you're the one on the camera, this is your show, this is your business. So,
Here's one
um,
thing. Let me add this one thing. It doesn't happen very often now that we've done higher starts for a long time, but every once in a while, someone will be like, "Yo, just run it for $1. Run it for $1." And I heard someone asking questions about that earlier. There's this pressure from sometimes that people come into your stream. Here's my response to that. I will kindly say, no, these don't start at $1. I am supporting my family this way, and I don't roll the dice. I don't gamble with putting food in the fridge. So we do higher starts. We have fair prices. If you look at our reviews, you'll see that people are loving what they're buying. If it's not for you, there's plenty of other sellers that do dollar starts. And then usually what that person says is, "Oh, you're right. I respect what you're doing."
yep,
Because what they're doing is they're going into every single stream being like, run it for $1, run it for $1, run it for $1. They're not thinking, oh, there's this man on the screen that's trying to support his family. They're only thinking, I want to buy dope stuff for $1.
yep,
And so if you reiterate why you're doing what you're doing, not arguing, not, yeah, Opal, putting milk in the fridge, baby. Uh, don't argue with them. Just say, listen, this isn't the stream where you're going to get something amazing for $1, but you're going to get something amazing for a very fair price.
yep.
What size are you looking for? And then usually that either turns them around or they didn't know, or, there's a lot of dollar starts. I'm not saying don't do dollar starts, but don't be forced into something that you don't want to do.
Yeah, I've always said the same thing. Probably not as tasteful, but yeah, guys, I don't want people that are begging for dollar starts, and I don't want people that join my stream just for a giveaway. I don't want those because those aren't going to be the people that feed the children, pay for the lights, anything like that. And I don't want to attract those people to my shows anyway.
Oh, wait.
Um,
If there's anyone in here that has been to my live streams, what do I do when someone asks for a giveaway? If you're
Block
in here
them.
right now,
I hope you
I've got
block
this
them.
really unique thing that I do. If someone just comes in, they're like, when are you going to do a giveaway? When are you going to do a giveaway? If there's anyone that watches my stream, boom, the sunset picture. This is what I do. When someone comes in, they're like, yo, are you doing a giveaway? When are you going to do a giveaway? I say, here's what I need you to do if you want a giveaway. I need you to Google the sunset, screenshot the sunset, change your profile because you don't have a profile photo because you're a giveaway goblin. And if you turn it into a sunset, I'll run a giveaway. And then what happens is they go and they Google and they screenshot and they come back and they say I did it. And then we
Nice.
look at I take out the iPad and I'm like, oh my god, they did. They changed it to a sunset. Let's do a giveaway. I was gonna do the giveaway anyway, but
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just it now all the other people that have just come in that are we're gonna about to ask for the giveaway, don't. You see,
nice.
it's a way to kind of control your stream, not be an a-hole. But hey, guys, if you're just coming in here for a giveaway, this isn't the stream for you.
Yeah, nice. I like that. I like that. I usually just berate people, so I'm gonna write this
Yeah.
down.
Well, that works too. That works too.
But again, we have completely different streams. For some reason, people like to just come into my stream and get roasted and buy stuff, and then keep coming back. Because again,
I've seen some good ones.
mine's more of like a comedy show that sells used clothes. And I love it. I love my chunky unicorns. You know who you are.
I
Uh,
I got a couple before we end. I got a couple. As is Drew still in here? I got a couple bangers of advice that I want to share. But keep going.
somebody had asked, where was that before all the, oh, they asked about thoughts on negative reviews on giveaways. I've personally never had anyone leave me a bad review on something that they got for absolutely free.
Yeah.
And if I did, then obviously I would block that person, and then I would publicly shame them, and then tell everybody to block them as well. But that's
Yeah.
just me personally.
I've seen it. I can't. Well, I'm sure we've gotten one. I mean, we support Ledgeway Farm, and we buy a bunch of their lip balm, and we give these away for free, because they're lightweight, because people will use them. I can't remember if I'm sure we have, but I can't remember. I have seen it on other sellers where people get bad reviews for giveaways. Ignore it, and the amount of amazing reviews you're going to get from all the other people because you're doing amazing things is going to drown those out. Plus, I
That
promise you, people that read those reviews are not saying, oh my god, they sent a crappy giveaway, even though some sellers do send crappy giveaways. I'm not going to lie, but it's a giveaway. So I here's where I'll go. It also comes from a place where people expect a certain giveaway, and then they've gotten something that is not even close to what was promised. So you got
right.
to understand there are some people that should be validated by leaving bad reviews for giveaways. Now, most of them they shouldn't, because it's free. But I always try to come from a place of like, why would someone in their right mind? Now, there's psychos out there, I get it, but why would someone there in their right mind do this? Just move on, just ignore it, and the amount of 5-star reviews will drown them out.
Yeah, which is what I was gonna say. Is there a way to get rid of bad review? Like, guys, just reviews. If you're selling on here, reviews are just dot 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 dot.
Yep.
And then any normal person that does business, or that actually, somebody that goes to Yelp or reads reviews, they're gonna be like, all right, well, they've got 20,000 reviews and they have a 5-star rating. 5-star, 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 1-star, 5-star, 5-star, 5-star. The 1-star is the actual bad one.
Yep.
Is the anomaly, not the 5 stars. Now, if it
Right.
was 1 star, 1 star, 1 star, 5 star, 1 star, 1 star, 1 star, 1 star, then you're like, oh, I bet that 5 stars is mom. You know. So I
Yep.
mean, it's safety in numbers. And if somebody doesn't
Yeah.
want to, if somebody sees you got 20,000 and you got a 5-star rating and you got one bad review that says giveaway sucked or whatever, and they don't shop from you, again, you don't want that person as a customer. Because they're the same
Yeah.
person that's going to leave you a 1 star. Yeah, product smelled like it was from the bins when he said he sold from the bins.
Yeah. One of my favorites. We've gotten bad reviews where someone says, "Oh, I couldn't believe it. The box was wet," and I was like,
That's because
I'm
I
out
peed
here.
on it before I shipped it out.
I'm out here carefully packaging and then punting your package into a puddle, then putting it in my truck and dropping it off. It's raining out. It's raining out. Get your pack. You know what I mean? But like, I say that in my mind and just move on and wish them the best from afar.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I don't even check my reviews anymore. Honestly, I was for a while because it was like a big. But now I've gotten to the point where I think we've established who we are, what we provide, what we offer, and if somebody genuinely has an issue, they know to reach out. So those people that reach out and be like, "Hey, this is what this," then I handle those people, and I don't care if they left me a bad review because they at least did the actual normal human thing of reaching out, so I could do the customer support,
Right.
um, instead of just being like, "Oh, I'm going to leave a crappy review." And then I do believe, and maybe I'm wrong. Are we able to respond to reviews yet, or no?
Yeah, you
Yeah. Okay.
can. You can. I don't think we've ever responded publicly on any reviews at all. But I think you can publicly respond. Yeah.
Okay, that's probably a horrible idea for me, but
I
I
mean,
see someone keeps asking when the sauce is coming. Guys, we are, trust me, we're working on the secret sauce hot sauce. It is going to happen, but this
hey,
is
I
only the
can't wait.
second episode. Calm down. I think you guys are a little more excited than we are, and we're freaking pumped.
Yeah, we literally talk about this all the time behind the scenes. We're gonna do some hot sauce. We're gonna do some really cool stuff. We're gonna be bouncing back and forth between both of our accounts,
Yes.
and just because we wanted to, we're doing this all the time, you and I,
Yep.
talking strategy, and we wanted to bring it to the public, because the opportunity is absolutely insane.
For sure, and I like the bounce back. Just so people know, so the next one is going to actually be on their stream, and I think it's because the reason I like it is because you're going to have more of your people, and then we're getting two different sides of two businesses.
Yep.
Anyone can fall in between what we're both doing. New
Yeah.
items, fast paced, sudden death, high starts. Bottom of the
Yep.
landfill, used clothing.
No, but
There's
what
the
we're doing is we're eliminating all the excuses. Is what we're doing.
yes,
We're both supporting our families. We both have different models, but they're both successful. And what that does is it eliminates, because for example, if we were both doing what I'm doing, people would be like, well, I don't want to spend a ton of money on brand new stuff. And then if we were both doing used stuff, they'd say, well, I don't want to do the used stuff. Like there's no way I can win with brand new stuff. So like
Yep.
this is why it's a good blend between uh both of our strategies. They're both successful. We're both hitting absolutely monster numbers. We're both supporting our family on the same marketplace.
Yep.
Now for you chat, this happened in episode 1. Someone came in and they started chirping and saying, well, I bet these guys don't have any kids. I bet they don't have any kids. And there's a lot of kids on that side, and I got 2 of my own.
Yeah.
So like,
Also, happy little seller. I saw the tip. Thank you so much. I didn't want you to think we didn't see it, guys. If we do this or I do this, we're acknowledging you without acknowledging. But I didn't want you to know that we do it. Yeah, Opal and them have 6 too. I
oh my
think.
dear
I don't know
Lord.
if they're confused about it. Maybe.
Maybe there's 16 kids between the 3 of us sellers right there.
So yeah, no. So what we've done is we've got 2 different business models and we've eliminated all the excuses and we're bringing it to you for absolutely free. No mentorship, no Patreon, no any of that. Just 100% free. Just like because again, I've always said you can give the information out and very little people are actually going to put in the work to make it and apply what you're telling them. It's the same
Yeah.
thing with school. You go to school, they tell you the information and you do you remember how to do half the stuff you learned? No. um because you don't apply it in everyday life. So that's what we're trying to do here. What handles the next secret sauce? It's gonna be on Renzi, and
Are we
it'll
doing? We'll post it. Is it every? We'll talk about it after. I think it's every 2 weeks now. Are we doing? Is that the
yeah
game
yeah
plan? All
yeah.
right. So we just lock in right after this stream, and we'll all post it. It'll be the same cover photo that was on this one, where it's got the secret sauce. But I will post it. You know, it'll have the secret sauce on there. It'll be on our account.
The other,
Um,
I did see somebody ask if we both quit our job, our 9 to 5s. Yes, we quit our 9 to 5 during the pandemic and went full
yep.
time with reselling. And then once we got on Whatnot, we were on Whatnot for about 5 months while also doing eBay. And then we decided buy eBay 100% on Whatnot, which was a huge risk, but I still see the upside and the potential every day on this platform versus any other platform. Regardless of if you think you are somebody that's entertaining or anything. I think anybody can win on here. Even I watch boring people that are crushing it.
Yeah.
Without giving out names, I watch boring people that are crushing it because they
Yeah.
have the product at a good
Yeah.
price. Really, that's all that matters. You don't have to be a freaking clown like me. You can sell stuff on here and be boring as hell.
I want to give a huge shout out to Revive in the chat. Our friends from the UK.
Hello, hey Nick.
Husband and wife absolutely crushing it. They usually when we stream in the morning, they're streaming. I don't know I can't remember what the time difference is, but Revive putting in that hard work, putting UK on the map. I
Oh,
really do appreciate I really do appreciate you guys. There was a question about trolls too. The easiest way to deal with trolls is just don't deal with them. Do not vocalize to them. Do not engage with them. Remove them from your stream. Block them and forget about it. We
I've
appreciate.
been working on that. I've had 2 2-day suspensions, and they were both a result of me not ignoring trolls.
Yeah. Yeah, you can report them, honeybee. I mean, now listen, I'm all about the camaraderie. Like there's some people that come in and we chop it up and we joke and everyone calls me like the heat miser and you look like, you know, what's going on with the hair and that's different than like a troll who's coming in and like really lacing into you and saying some bad stuff and obviously some serious stuff's going on in someone's life where they have to do that, but just don't waste any mental real estate. It's going to sound corny as hell, but like just block them. I'll say,
Yeah,
you know, we're gonna love you from afar from now on, and I'll block them and move on.
yeah.
And
See,
because
I do something like that where I'll say something, I'll get the last word in, and then block them. But now what
that's
I'm making sure that I do is my last word isn't something that they can then report me for.
yeah, I love it.
um,
Someone actually, go ahead, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that you guys, one thing, and I'm saying this out loud, and also I just want you to know that every time I click go live, this is running through my brain more than what I'm holding up. 9 times out of 10, I don't even know the item I'm holding up. I'm just telling myself, hey, remember, one person can ruin everything you've built. We
Yeah.
live in a society now where one person can ruin everything that you have put your everything into, and it's up to me to make sure that doesn't happen.
Right.
Now it's easier said than done for somebody who is like me, but that's how I try to actively go about my when I'm doing things in the show, to make sure that that doesn't. I would hate to have to go find another live selling platform to sell on. I don't want to be that person. You all know who I mean when I say that person. I don't want to be that person.
Yeah.
So, as fun as I like to have and crazy and cross the line and tell jokes, I do. This is how I pay and take care of my family, and I'm working on not taking letting people ruin that, because it just takes one person to
Yep.
report it.
It's easier said than done, and it's over time. Believe me, guys. I'm not saying it's all skipping. I say this all the time. It's not skipping down the sidewalk, and we get a lot of crazy DMs all the time, and it's very hard for me to not even respond in the DM. And then once in a while, they'll trickle through into our chat and start. But do your best to just not engage and move on, because there's so many amazing people on Whatnot that we have connected with. I cannot tell you, you know, it's a game changer when you focus on those people rather than the one troll. Because honestly, sometimes it's just like an 11-year-old kid who's got mom and dad's phone that just comes in and is trying to start stuff, and then they're going to third grade or whatever, whatever
Yeah.
it is.
So now what
It's
I do is
crazy.
I just wait till after the show, we're off air, and then I just lay it all. I'm just like, I just tell Stacy everything that I wanted to say, and she's like, "Well, I'm glad you didn't say any of that stuff because that would have crossed the line." I'm like, "Oh, I know, but I got to get it out."
Yo, shout out to Stacy. Lindsay, my wife does the same thing. She'll DM me on the screen. You guys won't be able to see it.
Yeah.
My wife can tell. She knows what's going on in my brain just by looking into my eyes, because she
Yeah.
watches the stream from upstairs. And she'll DM me. And sometimes if Hunter, you're still in there, Hunter will see it, one of our most amazing mod. And she'll be like, "Don't do it, Ryan. Don't do
That's
it.
it. That's
Don't
the text I
don't
get.
say
It'll
anything."
come across the screen and say, "Don't do it" at the top of my phone, and I'm like, "Okay." She can see in my eye that I'm about to unload.
Yeah. And I'll see the DM from my wife that's on the screen that you guys can't see, and I'll be like, all right, we'll move on.
Yeah,
We'll move
secret
on.
secret time. That's usually when I either take a drink. Like if you're watching my show, if you see me like take a drink when I'm at the bins, or like I just kind of step back, or I bend down, or I look away, that is my tick. I saw the text, don't do it, and I'm like,
Yep.
okay.
And but
Uh,
like we're joking, but we're not joking. Like sometimes you do have to step away and kind of catch yourself and then get back into the groove. Or sometimes it's time to just turn the camera off and get a crack at it the next day. It's
yeah, for sure. Um, Somebody asked about promotion and shows. So there's two different ways you can look at it. I obviously, as you can tell, we're here. We're part of. We want to be in the community and build the community of people. So I always let people promote in my chat. You come in, it's in the show notes. You don't have to ask. It says you can promote. Now that's just my show.
yep.
Every show, every person that runs a show has that's their show. How they run their show is how they run their business. So
Yeah.
if you just jump in a show and promote yourself and you haven't been part of the community, then no, it's not tasteful.
Right. Yeah, yeah. I think so we ask people to DM us
Yeah,
and say, because I want to make sure you're not selling $100 stickers and doing these like weird mystery games.
yeah,
But it also adds an extra element that might come across the wrong way.
yeah,
So there's pros and cons to it. We've recommended people that we didn't know in the past, and unfortunately they were selling $100 stickers, and it made me feel bad. but
yeah,
but now this is a character defect of mine. I can't control other people. I can't control. You have to be a grown adult, and if you get taken advantage of, I just want to try my best to not promote those people. But also, it sometimes when people come in and they're really nice and they're brand new and they're like, "Can I promote my show?" And I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! Shoot me a DM before you tell anybody what you got going on." Sometimes it scares people, and I don't want that to happen because, like you said, we want to support other people. So, whatever you feel comfortable with, let it rip. We've chosen to say, you know what, shoot me a DM, and I just want to make sure you're not trying to come onto Whatnot for a week and
yeah,
sell a bunch of stuff, not ship it, and take the money.
yeah, for sure. And then somebody just said that I see this a lot too, where people will actually be like, okay, well, you want to promote, well, then you got to buy a giveaway or sponsor a giveaway or something like that. Um, You could do
Yeah.
you could there's all different kinds of ways that you could get it. I don't personally like if somebody drops their thing like, hey, I have this going on tomorrow. I'm not gonna be like, guys, you got to go to that show, you know, blah blah blah. If
Right.
you promote
Yeah.
in my chat, it's I don't know these people. I don't know you.
Yeah. And well, here's the thing. One thing that a common question that comes across to you is how do I get more people in my stream? And the answer is you don't need more people. You just need, the right type of people. But the reason I bring that up is sometimes, I mean, we've had over 2,000 people in our chat at one point, and it's chaos.
Ugh,
Like,
ugh.
imagine 2,000 people, and there's people swearing at each other, and there's people making, and there's people promoting, and it's very hard to sell. And I'm mentioning this because there's new problems that come in the more people. Now,
Yeah.
with respect to what we're saying, when you have 2, 3, 4, 500, 600 people, people just come in and they're like, okay, there's a lot of eyeballs on this stream. I'm going to come in and say, come to my stream where I can sell the $100 stickers.
Yep.
So, like, be careful what you wish for because there's just a whole new set of problems. It doesn't equal more money when there's more people in your stream. I
Nope.
promise you. Now, you got to
Also,
have people.
one thing that I've noticed, especially like if something happens, whether to you or in the community that you're a part of, that next show that you have after said event, there's a lot of people in there, but that doesn't mean there's a lot of people wanting to buy. There's a lot of people that want to be in the chat talking about said in thing, and causes more work for you because, oh, did you just run that? Oh man, I wasn't paying attention because I'm too busy debating about something that doesn't matter to me with some person I don't know on your chat instead of buying the thing that I actually came here for. So now I got
Right.
to run it again, which is taking more time. So yeah,
Yeah.
90% of the time, if you have a ton of people in your chat, and it's usually not how that is, they're just talking and they're not paying attention.
Right, exactly. And that's the whole goal. You want to be on stream, you want to respect people's time, and you're there to sell stuff. It
Yeah,
doesn't have to be all sales, but like you're trying to respect your time and their time.
yeah, exactly. And again, if it's something that involves you, obviously you could talk about it. But for the most part, guys, this isn't Live Journal. This isn't Poshmark. Send your emojis elsewhere. God dang it. No.
Crazy.
Guys, I don't know. Are we
I
done?
got one more. I got one
Okay.
more thing. So
Somebody
we're
wants to
talking.
DM you, but they don't want a promotion. He is married with children. Leave him alone. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Yes, you absolutely can DM us. Absolutely. So we've been testing flash sales. We've been testing what we call small batch. We've had 2,335 additional sales on top of our apparel sales in the last 30 days doing what I'm about to tell you. Now, we work with Coastal Maine Popcorn doing gourmet popcorn. We work with Ledgeway Farm doing goat milk soap. We work with Cobb Hill Sugar House doing maple syrup. None of that is apparel, but 2,335 additional sales. That's items sold in the last 30 days. How did we come across these products? It's not even close to what we sell. I'm going to tell you right now. You want to find someone in your local area that does these things. You want to make sure they're an established company. They're not just last week. They're like, oh, I'm going to try to figure out how to make some delicious gourmet popcorn. This is what you do. There is an app called Fair, Faire. It is basically a directory where people are trying to wholesale their products to you. So you're going to want to download that app. You're going to want to start looking in your local area. So if you live in Texas, or if you live up here in Maine, or if you live in California, in the search bar of that app, you're going to look up goat milk soap made in California or wherever you are. You want to search in your local area because you don't want to have them ship the items because that increases your buy cost. Do not buy on Fair. This is the trick. You're going to see what the wholesale prices are on Fair, but you do not want to buy on Fair. It's a free directory. It's going to connect you with. Now, listen, guys, you're probably saying there's no one that sells amazing goat milk soap. There's no one that sells popcorn in my area. I live in the middle of nowhere in Maine, and we found amazing companies. In the description of the companies that you find, you're going to want to look for companies that have been in business for more than 5 years. It'll say, We started in 2008. We started in 2009 and 2010. You want someone who's been through that first 5 years. They've worked out the kinks and they've got an amazing product, because you don't want to have to worry about the product. You want to find lightweight things that people will pay more for. An example, gourmet popcorn. An example, loose leaf tea. An example, goat milk soap. An example, beaver nuggets, which I have bought these from Flip the World, right? You're going to want to look on Fair. Now, here's the deal. You do not want to buy through them from Fair. You're going to want to connect with them through social media. They're in your local area. They live in your state. You're going to want to message them on Instagram and say, just as an example, and say, hey, I love, your product. I would love to bring it to my community. I see you have really good wholesale prices, because you can see the wholesale prices on Fair. I would love the opportunity to talk to you about selling your product. If they're on Fair, they want to find other people to wholesale to.
Yep.
Does that make sense so far? Put a number 1 in the comments if that makes sense so far. Again, I don't want you to make the mistake to try to buy on Fair. I don't want you to make the mistake to find someone who sells goat milk soap up here in Maine if you live in California, because then they're going to have to ship it all the way and your buy cost goes way up. You will find people in your local area. And there's lots of other products too. Now, take it a step further. Consumable products where they're going to use it. Like when I bought from Flip the World, we bought like a bunch of different bags. This one only has 1 nugget left. Because I love it. When I want more, I'm going to go back to Flip the World. When people use the soap, they come back for more. When they eat the popcorn, they come back for more. Once you find that local company and you message them on Instagram, you already know what their wholesale prices are. You can create a price point that respects their retail price. You don't want to undercut them. Ledgeway Farm sells for less than we do. But you can go to Ledgeway Farm and buy a bar for less than we sell it. But because we have an international community on Whatnot, it's a little bit more from us. If they end up buying from us and going to Ledgeway, that's cool. It's a local company. They're absolutely amazing. But we keep selling through this stuff. If that makes sense so far, put a number 1 in the comments below. You may have to message several companies. Another example, beef jerky. People will pay a little bit more for beef jerky, but it doesn't have a hefty weight, which means you can have a low shipping cost, which means it's easier for people to buy.
Yep.
You want to find products like this that you're wholesaling under $4 that you can sell for $9 plus. That way you're more than under 4, so you're basically doubling your money after all the fees. This is a very cool way to start wholesaling stuff and creating a following and getting through stuff. Again, 2,335 sales items sold in the last 30 days for us. Completely different than our normal business model. And I bring that up because someone would say, well, everyone buys from you already. Well, they weren't buying goat milk soap from us. They weren't buying gourmet popcorn. So it's almost like a new business. And we test small. You put in a small wholesale order. If it works well, you put in a bigger one. And now we're putting orders in week after week after week, partnering with other local companies. And then you can find more products that are similar. And then all of a sudden your store is filled with amazing stuff that people keep coming back for. Do you have any questions? Does that make sense?
Just to shut down the nobody's asked it, but just to shut down the why would I buy $9 soap when I can just go get it for 4, is the same way that retail arbitrage works all around the world, supply and demand.
Right.
If you want to go and do the research and find the farm and then order it from them and then blah blah blah, go for it.
Yep.
But it's here right now from somebody you trust that you buy from regularly.
Yeah.
Supply and demand. Why are like with the socks thing that I was doing, that was just kind of a test, but they came out with Iron Maiden and Slayer socks at the Dollar Tree. I went to the $30 trees in my vicinity because I like both of those bands and I wanted to get those socks. None of them have it. So I had to go online and buy them from a goddamn reseller that got there before I did. And I paid more than $1 for the socks because supply and demand.
Now, guys, everything I just said is tested. I took the same elements and I said lightweight, people will pay a little bit more for, local, and I started to try to find other products that have a resale value a little bit higher. This is where this past week we just introduced the Portuguese cork handmade bags. They're lightweight because they're cork. They're sustainable. They're eco-friendly. They're waterproof. And we found a local based out of Boston artist that has been doing this since 2009. Again, the same elements, a different type of inventory, but for all the same reasons why the goat milk soap works, why the popcorn works, why the maple syrup is working. And this is the type of mindset as a reseller that's trying to grow a business that you got to think of. Where can I do this type of arbitrage where the people buying from me get a great deal and a great product and I can make a little bit of money, as opposed to what kind of crap that can I just get
Yeah,
that's really close to me and try to force feed it to the people on Whatnot. That's not
exactly.
what we're doing. You want to find the best products you possibly can that make you the money, period. And this is one way that's tried and true now. This is this is going to be our fourth product that we've introduced in the last 6 months that is going to drastically increase our business on top of the apparel that we're already doing. And again,
Exactly.
the elements you want to remember, last thing I'll say, you want to have it be as lightweight as possible, but you want it to be items that people will pay up for: goat milk soap, gourmet popcorn, beef jerky, maple syrup, bourbon barrel aged maple syrup, Portuguese cork bags. And through Fair, you can find people in your local area that will wholesale to you.
Awesome. I wrote that down as well. Look at that. We sold 1,400 toothpaste. That's awesome. Beef jerky,
Revive
anything.
UK tapping in.
One thing to close out today, guys, because I actually do have a show at 1, self promotion. Sorry. One thing I wanted to talk about that I don't think enough people are concentrating or focusing on is Ryan is very good at getting people to engage in the chat, whether or not they're buying or not. He just told you twice to put a 1 if you understand. We've been on for almost 2 hours. We've sold absolutely nothing. We haven't tried to sell you anything. And a bunch of people threw up the 1s. I actually got on my second phone and put a 1 in the chat. It's all about engaging with people, making them feel like they're in their, I am looking at myself, but I am talking to you guys, and hopefully through having good products I can make a sale. But no matter what, as long as you're letting people feel like they're part of what you're doing, they're going to follow, they're going to come back, and eventually they're going to buy.
Right.
But if we have 126 people and we're only focusing on like the 2 people we know in the stream, everyone else feels like they're not part of this. So
Right.
I talk to everyone that is engaging in the stream, and doing little things like that. You engaged everybody just by saying throw up a number 1, and you do that a lot during your shows. You'll say, hey, everybody put sunshine in the chat or whatever you do.
Yep.
So stuff like that. As soon as they make a chopped liver emoji, that's what people are going to be throwing up in my chat. Because that's what everybody calls themselves on my stream, chopped liver.
I love it.
So, guys, hopefully this was awesome. It was awesome for me. I took notes, and this is my thing, and I took notes. So, next one will be on Renzi's stream. And
Yep.
guys, if you have questions, we don't have anything set up now where you can just send them in, but I am going to occasionally, especially the week of or a few days before, put it in my Instagram like questions for the stream. I'll write them down. You can always email fliptheworldtx@gmail if you want. Just put the subject as secret sauce question, and I'll write it down and add it. I'm old school. I do everything pen and paper still, and we'll try and answer as many questions as we can. You guys are awesome. And we'll say send to Flip the World to Renzi. There you go. I enjoy this so much. Yeah, cool. Awesome. Yes, this will be available. That is one thing. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for the tips, guys. This is going to be available on the Flip the World YouTube next week, or when we do the next episode. I don't know if you're going to multicast it or not, but if you do, or we'll
I got to
figure out.
figure out. I got to figure out how to do that. But if you teach me, I will absolutely
Yeah,
do that.
we'll figure out that on the back end to make sure that this is available for people to rewatch, because I know a lot of it went fast. Maybe you didn't get all of it. You can go back and watch it as well. But you can go to Flip the World YouTube and rewatch these. For some reason, it's called 20K Celebration. I'm going to change that. And
Love
and
it.
you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm going to go potty and then get ready for my show. So, Ryan,
Yo,
thank you so much as always.
tell the whole family I said hello. We'll talk to you guys all real soon.
Likewise. Bye, guys.